speaking of not caring, of course, obviously the tragedy that took place over the weekend in Pittsburgh has stunned so many people. Again, 11 folks in the synagogue gunned down by a white domestic terrorist. But another white domestic terrorist last week was close to doing the exact same thing at a black church in Kentucky. But if it wasn't for that church door being locked and him not being able to get in, that was how the tragedy was averted. I want to give you a little more information about the two black folks who he did kill in a Kroger. He couldn't get to the church. He chose to then go in and shoot this black couple in the Kroger. First off, one of the victims, Maurice Stallard, 69 years old. He was shopping with his 12-year-old grandson for poster boards when he was shot by this white domestic terrorist multiple times. Stallard was a military veteran and retired General Electric employee. He also is the father to Kelly Watson, Chief Equity Officer to Louisville Mayor Greg Fisher. The second victim was Vicki Lee Jones, 67 years old. Jones attended Western Kentucky University for a couple of years, where she met her future husband, George Jones, who died of cancer in 2010. She also retired from the VA hospital, where she worked as an office administrator. And so, of course, funeral arrangements are pending for both of them. Again, two victims of white domestic terrorists. And to our panel here real quick, this is the thing for me. Morning Joe all of a sudden decided to focus on white supremacy today. I'm like, appreciate that. It took y'all a long damn time. But the bottom line is, we've been saying this for the longest, what is happening. And you have folks in this country who are in this administration, they want to focus just on Islam. But the reality is, we've seen a significant surge in white domestic terrorists, but they want to call it something else. We are going to call it exactly what it is.
And you know, it's interesting, and I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but the titles of, oh, they're crazy, they're wackos, there's something wrong with them, always goes to folks that don't look like that their skin is not brown. It always is something must be wrong with them. But if it's a brown-skinned person committing these kind of acts, they're doing it for a particular political reason. It's the exact same thing. When you're calling it domestic terrorism, Roland, that's exactly what it is, and we should call it that.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. We have always in this country, the majority of terrorist activities have been put in place by right-wing domestic white supremacist terrorists. This is not something that is new. It's always been this way. And we've seen an increase of it. You're right. So while there is this big sort of overreaction, you're exactly right, and different characterization of acts that are committed by people who are brown or black or of a different religion, when it comes to white male terrorism, that, quite frankly, is homegrown, good old-fashioned American terrorism that we've known for centuries.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're looking at every, massive shooting, from school shootings to, adults, letting off bullets. I mean, then very rarely is it a person of color or a person of the Muslim faith. It's typically your average white boy that, decided to let off some bullets, let off some steam.
All right, folks.